elbow in.
Oh man! You got a camera?
Good day everyone. Today we will be bringing you the legendary signature moves that made a basketball heaven. From the Dream Shake to the Skyhook to the Euro Step, we will break down the history of why such signature moves forever changed the way we see the basketball game. These signature moves sure do have a lot of stories attached to them, and we're guessing that you probably already know some of them, but maybe for some of you, there will still be a few surprises. Stick around to hear some interesting facts about Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James' signature moves. Facts that I'm sure you won't have heard about before. Now let's get the ball rolling. Probably not the prettiest of moves, but this simple and basic bank shot Tim Duncan mastered allowed him to put so many balls into the ring during the entirety of his NBA career. It is so simple that a lot of players don't like to do it, and it isn't done much these days, but when practiced enough like Duncan, it is just as effective. Here he proved that even the most simple and basic of moves can be used to gain a big advantage. It does take a lot of angle precision and a little bit of grace to pull it off though, and nobody does it better than Tim Duncan himself. Most famous for the image of a one-legged fadeaway, no one does it better than the man who invented it himself, Dirk Nowitzki. It remains as the most unguardable shot in the history of basketball, as one tries to lean back, away from the defender, and shoot the ball overhead. It may sound and look easy, but to break it down for you, it actually involves 3 feet of separation from the other player at a 20-degree angle, while at the same time trying to make the shot. This signature move became so effective that other famous players like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Carmelo Anthony tried to copy the one-legged fadeaway shot that is commonly known as the Dirk Lean. In 2014, Dirk Nowitzki became the highest scoring international player in NBA history. Measuring at 7 feet tall, Kevin Durant's ability to make a shot seem almost natural to him, and to pair that with his signature hezzy move, Durant becomes unstoppable in court. What most of you probably don't know is that when Durant was practicing this move, he almost quit at one point, threw the ball in the trash can and walked away. In spite of that, the rest, as they say, is history. Who would have thought that he too would have doubted himself? Although that crossover is nothing new in hooping, that hesitation pull-up jumper that Durant thoroughly mastered became iconic due to the fact that the combination of his physical makeup and acquired skills made this move unique to him. Try stopping a 7-foot guy who's so quick on his dribbling, even LeBron James would doubt himself. NBA's most iconic and unstoppable signature move, known to almost every basketball fan on the planet, is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Skyhook. Even though he may have learned this move from other players when he was young, only Kareem executes it so successfully and repeatedly that it eventually came to be associated with his name when he finally made it to the NBA. Of 1,000 block attempts to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Skyhook, only a handful have succeeded in doing so. It was not just about the science of the positioning nor the timing of the shot. Kareem ultimately knew how to handle that ball perfectly and had such great intuition. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar reminded every player that a hook is just as effective at all levels of the game. Remember that unforgettable chase down block that LeBron did to Iguodala during Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals? Who would have forgotten that heart-stopping moment? 89-89 tie, just a few seconds left, and Iguodala was on his way to do a layup and advance their score, leading to their win. But then there was LeBron James sprinting at 20.1 miles an hour and launching himself 35 inches in the air and getting both of his hands to do his iconic chase down block. Both hands, he said, were used to make sure he could do a block even if Iguodala did a reverse shot. Question: was he superhuman or what? Well, that explains why LeBron's signature move changed the history of NBA. He knows when to do it, where to take position, and exactly how to execute a killer block. So every time there is a LeBron in court, one needs to be extra vigilant with their gameplay. Even Iguodala later on remarked that he was also a fan of LeBron and that the block he did on him was a dope move. The sheer size and power of this man is enough for him to be considered as one of the toughest players to stay in court. Weighing at around 325 pounds and standing at 7 feet tall, it was only proper to call his move the Black Tornado. Shaquille O'Neal would continually bump into his defender, then in one quick move, he would spin the other way, then dunk over them. Since it was obvious how much physical strength was needed to guard this enormous man, other teams had resorted to a few more desperate ways to counter his move, including fouling him. NBA had never been so interesting. How did the most basic rule in basketball, the two-step rule, become a household name attached to Manu Ginobili, now known today as the Eurostep? This is because Ginobili took the rule to a whole new level by simply making it unpredictable. He improvised his moves every single time, mostly out of necessity and with such flair. He turned it from a simple rule to a survival rule, requiring whoever does it to be skilled enough to know what's the next best step. After all, it was his swift imagination that catapulted his infamous Eurostep into having a cult following. A very rare and special point guard who can make anyone's jaw drop with just a flick of his fingertip, Jason Kidd has that rare ability of being able to find the best angle in court and deliver that ball with flaring perfection to his teammates. With his no-look, one-handed passes, Jason Kidd has led the New Jersey Nets into back-to-back finals appearances, and with that he became a legend. Even when he wasn't such a great shooter or skilled at any layups or dunks, Jason Kidd demonstrated that an effective point guard who can make incredible and sometimes almost impossible passes can drive a team to victory. Though this may seem like a never-ending debate as to who might be the greatest passer in the history of NBA, it is still arguable that in the subject of who does it best, Johnson remains on top. Magic Johnson not only does magic passes, but he does it with such precision even in the midst of a full-speed attack. So what's impressive about it if other NBA players do it too? Only Johnson knows how to set up the game if it already wasn't, and have everything staged for the other player to make that swooping score. And those passes always end up with a slam dunk. Together with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Johnson changed the way people followed NBA. With his upbeat tempo inside the court, contrary to the years before Showtime, his moves were forever cemented in NBA history. Ironically, for a no-look pass, Magic Johnson once said, "You have to train yourself to use all those eyes." With that physical makeup, maybe he did have more than two eyes. Now, who could forget the big man? Olajuwon started the legacy of the pivot foot. He did adapt it from his soccer days, but translated it well enough into the basketball courts. It is one of the most difficult moves to defend, as you can imagine, when Olajuwon would trick, spin, freeze, and ultimately shake off his opponent in a swift but tricky counter move. It's all in the footwork and dexterity of the player. Now we understand why it's called the Dream Shake. It's all about shaking it off. And let's not all forget the living legend, the greatest basketball player of all time. Before that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also hit the bell for good luck. Are there any signature moves that you wish were on this list? Let us know. His well-marketed athletic leaping ability has inspired many great athletes today and will continue to for many generations to come. Jordan was not only good in offense, he was an all-round awesome player who has won 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, and 3 All-Star Game MVPs, a winner of an NCAA championship, an NBA championship, and an Olympic gold medal, which only a handful of athletes have achieved. Respectfully considered as the most decorated basketball player there is, it was not his title that influenced many great athletes, but it was the way he honed his skills, handled the ball, and played with his team that ultimately reached out to many aspiring athletes, young and old, across the globe for years to come. Michael Jordan is a true legend that forever changed the NBA. So there you have it, guys, a brief breakdown of the most incredible signature moves that forever changed the NBA. We hope you had as much fun as we did reliving bits of the golden period in NBA history. See you on our next episode, and have a wonderful day.